A missing Joplin teen turns up safe several states away. And it's Election Day. We have reporters live across the 4 states with a look at situations at polling places.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Some voters wait in long lines to get their chance to participate in the democratic process on this Election Day. This is KOAM News at 6. We're going to have more on elections in a bit, but first, a Joplin teen who was missing for more than a month is found safe. KOAM's Zach Dodge has the latest.
Many in the area can let out a sigh of relief after 14-year-old Leora Hardy is found safe in Wisconsin. Hardy was first reported missing on September 17th from the area of D and North Wall Street in Joplin. The FBI and National Center for Missing and Exploited Children assisted in the search. Hardy reportedly turned herself in to a law enforcement agency in Wisconsin yesterday and is in good health.
The investigation doesn't just stop just because she was found. It's trying to determine, okay, did she do this on her own? Did she run away? Was this an enticement case? All these different avenues. Investigators, that's part of the job of our detective, is to try to determine the exact circumstances on her disappearance, and hopefully we'll get those answers and be able to figure out exactly how this case should proceed.
JPD is currently working with police in Wisconsin to bring Hardy back home to Joplin. Reporting in Joplin, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
The criminal investigation into that disappearance is still underway. Nick Kelly joins us now. Unseasonably warm weather on this Election Day, Nick.
But still quiet once again, making it just perfect for any activities today, including participating in the election process. We had mostly sunny skies all day. We're seeing that to start the evening out, at least mostly clear skies. But I am watching our next quick upper level wave coming out of Nevada and Utah. Out ahead of it, cloud covers building across western Kansas, eastern Colorado. Some of that will start to work our way as we head into the overnight. In the meantime, though, with the south wind in place, we are still seeing temperatures mild, but we have started to cool down a bit. Lower in the middle 60s now across much of the area. But because of the south wind that we still have in place at about 5 to 10 miles per hour, we're not going to cool down very much tonight. Just a chilly night ahead of us. We'll continue to fall back into the 50s this evening and bottom out in the lower to middle 50s for a quiet Wednesday morning. We'll stay mild for a few more days before we talk about rain chances wanting to return. We'll get to that in the full forecast in a bit now.
All right, we'll catch you then. Voters are still showing up at the Countryside Christian Church polling location in Pittsburgh with less than an hour left to vote now. KOAM's Caitlin Shive joins us from there live.
County Clerk Don Pyle told me that there have been some technical issues throughout the day with polling here in Kansas regarding some typos or wrong addresses for some residents with their ballots, but he says it's only been about a few out of the 20,000 ballots they are expecting to be cast by the end of the night. Now, it's a slow pace of people still trickling in here at the Countryside Christian Church location, where voters are only waiting around 5 to 10 minutes to vote. Some say they were expecting longer wait times at this time of the night, but are happy with how smoothly things are being run with masks and social distancing so that they can get their votes cast.
It's a presidential election. It is my voice and it should be heard, so I'm out here voting today.
Now, there's been around more than 1,100 votes cast at this location with less than an hour left to vote. Reporting live in Pittsburgh, Caitlin Shive, KOAM News.
Caitlin, thanks. Voting's also underway in a lot of places, including St. Paul's Methodist Church in Joplin, where hundreds of voters are working their way through a long line to have their voices heard. KOAM's Kate Kelly joins us from there live. Kate.
Even though a lot of people have voted absentee, the majority of voters in our area are showing up to the polls in person, and there's a lot of them. Now, the line has gone down quite a bit as the last few voters are making their way in. The wait time is sitting around 45 minutes to an hour, still about an hour faster than this morning. One poll worker told me about 150 people were here waiting at 6 a.m., and so far there's nearly 1,500 votes that have been cast. These voters say it's worth the wait to have their voices heard.
With the pandemic, with the economy, I own 2 businesses here in town, so it's really important for me to get somebody that's going to get businesses back and get customers back, but do it safely.
3,500 people belong to this precinct. Poll workers say they're still expecting to see about 500 more voters before things wrap up. Of course, polls close at 7, so there's still just a little time left in Joplin. Kate Kelly, KOAM News.
All right, Kate, thanks. Over in Carl Junction, the voting line stretched all the way out to the road in Briarbrook. With about a 2-hour wait at some points, voters had plenty of time to reflect on who they're voting for and why. 18-year-old Ashley Stokes is voting in her first presidential election, but says she's more enthusiastic about state and local issues compared to who will secure the position of commander-in-chief.
Honestly, on the presidential election, I know who I'm voting for, but I don't even want to admit it to people because both of them are an embarrassment.
By around 1 p.m., this precinct had seen nearly 1,000 voters. There was a short wait at the Civic Center in Miami, Oklahoma. The Ottawa County Election Board Secretary Verna Ferris tells us she did not have a turnout estimate precisely, but they thought turnout would be high. She also said the early voting period brought in a lot of voters there. Preparations are underway at the Republican headquarters in Joplin for tonight. A watch party is set to kick off at 7. And ahead of that, volunteers have been shuttling voters to the polls and getting the HQ ready for guests. One volunteer we spoke with says they had a busy start to the day, but things began to quiet down in the afternoon. Traditionally, they see a larger group for a watch party, but officials say COVID-19 changed things.
Our debate nights have been more crowded than we had planned. We were expecting maybe 25 to 30, and we've been closer to 50. But like I say, we just don't know what to expect, so we're ready.
We'll have live reports from that watch party throughout the night and on KOAM News at 9 and 10. Now, today's KOAM News Now Insta poll, we're asking, how confident are you that votes will be counted properly nationwide? At this point, just over a quarter, 27% say very confident, 11% say somewhat confident, most, 62% say not confident. You can join in the conversation by voting at koamnewsnow.com/vote or through the KOAM News Now mobile app. Results update automatically. We're going to check in on the numbers periodically throughout this evening's newscasts. Still ahead, Election Day vandalism at Kansas City's World War I monument encourages people to not vote. But first, the renowned artist behind a 4-state landmark passes away. Checking back in on today's KOAM News Now Insta poll. Again, we're asking, how confident are you that votes will be counted properly nationwide? You see the numbers there. Still, a majority, 62%, say they're not confident. You can join in the conversation by voting at koamnewsnow.com/vote or through the KOAM News Now mobile app. We'll check back in on those numbers again here in just a bit. Lowell Davis, the artist behind Red Oak 2 near Carthage, has passed away. The Carthage painter and sculptor was 83 years old. The family is asking for donations to help maintain Red Oak 2 in lieu of flowers. A 1-year-old Carthage boy is dead after he was run over in a driveway yesterday afternoon. According to the Highway Patrol crash report, the child was run over after being under a car driven by a 19-year-old woman. Police are investigating a deadly shooting by a drug enforcement agency officer in Springfield, Missouri. That shooting happened at a home yesterday afternoon. 25-year-old Caleb Slay died in that shooting. Authorities are not saying just what led to that shooting or giving any other details. A little bit later, the mother of a Missouri boy who died with COVID-19 talks about her son's death and what she hopes it means for others.
Plus, will stay mild through the end of the week before rain chances start to sneak back in. Forecast up next. The mild trend continued once again today after we started off cool this morning. Plenty of sunshine and some dry air meant temperatures wasting no time warming up once again. Very similar to what we had to deal with yesterday. A cold start in the mid-30s before we started, or topped out rather, in the mid-60s. Thankfully not overly cold for this morning, but we did drop back into the upper 40s. Then we saw temperatures catapult into the mid-70s for afternoon highs. So we definitely stayed mild for today thanks to clear skies. And those skies are still clear up top right now in Joplin. 63 degrees with the south wind at 7. It's trying to bring in some more moisture, but we still have a low dew point and low humidity. Both of those readings checking in at 35. Outside of Joplin, we have pretty much everybody in the lower to middle 60s, say maybe Stockton Lake, one of the lone spots checking in at 58. In general, though, we were certainly mild once again today because of our south wind this morning, light at 5 to 10, picked up a bit throughout the day, increasing to about 5 to 15, not to mention gusts near 20. We might have backed down on that breeze a bit, sure, but as long as that breeze is still out of the south, temperatures won't be too keen to drop off a whole lot for the rest of the evening. We'll eventually drop back into the upper 50s before we hit the midnight hour, and eventually we'll settle down mainly lower 50s for your Wednesday morning. Nothing to track once again for today on the Skywatch Storm Tracker, at least as far as rain goes. But in this setup, we have noticed cloud cover picking up ahead of our next wave developing out west. But this is what I'm really watching as we head toward the weekend. It's not even on shore yet in the Pacific Northwest, but that's going to be the cold front that'll really start to cool things down and put an end to our mild trend as we go into the middle of next week. Before that gets here, this upper low spinning across the Nevada-Utah line, that's coming our way for tomorrow, and ahead of it, we'll start to see cloud cover pick up as we go throughout the course of the night. Of course, no cloud cover to speak of right now, but it's during the overnight as that wave begins to work east. That's when some of the partly cloudy skies will begin to roll back in. But we'll welcome that because the cloud cover will help temperatures mainly stay about 53 degrees. So not too cool for the night ahead of us. We'll drop back, actually climb back up, there we go, to 67 by lunchtime. And still, despite mostly cloudy skies tomorrow and a south wind at 10 to 20, we are going to see highs back near 71 in Joplin. In fact, upper 60s to lower 70s all across the board for Wednesday. So even though we have this quick upper level wave passing by with cloud cover, we're going to stay warm for tomorrow. And unfortunately, not enough moisture for this to bring any rain chances. So this is a dry wave that'll be out of here as we go into Thursday. We'll see skies turn mostly sunny again as we head into Thursday. Quiet to start the weekend out, but as soon as we get past a quiet Saturday, here comes a pair of upper lows ready to push that cold front our way. We could see some showers popping in here on Sunday, but we'll see better rain chances working for Monday and Tuesday. Once we get back behind the cold front on Tuesday, that is when we'll start to turn chilly again as we go into the middle of next week. But quiet tomorrow despite mostly cloudy skies, 71 degrees, staying in the lower 70s for highs through Saturday, morning lows in the lower 50s. Then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, that's when we'll get some much needed rain chances back in here now.
Liking those temps for sure.
They're looking pretty good.
Thanks, Nick. Hey, don't forget you can be the first to know about today's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone, and it doesn't cost a dime. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Still ahead, a Missouri woman is grieving the loss of her son who had COVID-19 as she calls on the rest of us to take precautions to prevent more loss. A World War I museum being used as a polling location was vandalized with a message aimed at discouraging people from voting. This photo shows the "Don't Vote" and "Fight for Revolution" spray painted on the stone building in Kansas City, Missouri. Officials say the graffiti happened overnight but was cleaned as voters arrived. A representative for the museum said video of the incident was sent to the Kansas City Police Department. Similar messages have occurred in Pennsylvania and Texas this week, all bearing identical graffiti. 13-year-old boy in Missouri died over the weekend from the coronavirus. His mother says he didn't have any known pre-existing conditions. She tells reporter Justina Cornell she wants to use her story to warn others to take the coronavirus seriously.
Right now, I just feel completely and utterly broken and numb, and I would do anything to trade places with him.
Funny, sweet, kind, and known as her little buddy. That's what Stephanie Franek says about her 13-year-old son, Payne Bumgarth, an 8th grader at Washington Middle.
We had so much fun. We laughed a lot.
Franek says now she has to do the one thing no parent should have to do: bury her son. Bumgarth passed away due to COVID-19 complications this weekend. The Franklin County teen is the youngest person in the state of Missouri to die from the virus.
I don't even know how to take a breath, let alone get through the next days and weeks and months and years without him.
Just 2 weeks ago, Baumgarth was actually in class. His last day was October 22nd. He then quarantined that Monday on October 26th. His mom says she tested positive on the 26th with mild symptoms. Baumgarth was presumed positive.
He just wasn't getting better, and his condition was getting much worse.
He then went to the hospital on Thursday, and 2 days later, Baumgarth passed away.
There's no reason why he shouldn't be here and I shouldn't, if that's what... I don't know why it affected him so much worse.
Mom says it's hard to understand how this happened since her son has no underlying medical conditions. But what she does know is her message to the world is loud and clear.
Wear a mask when you're in public. Wash your hands. And know that COVID is real.
And she hopes her son can be a reminder for you that life is precious.
Hug the people that you love. Hug them tight. Tell them you love them. Spend as much time as you can with your loved ones, because you never know when it's going to be the last.
Baumgarth's classmates return to in-person learning tomorrow. The school says it'll have counselors on hand for them. Final check on the weather is next. Take time now to honor a local veteran, Sergeant Jacob Bevins. The St. Paul, Kansas native served in the U.S. Marine Corps with the 2nd Light Armored Reconnaissance Battalion. And we are proud to salute Sergeant Jacob Bevins. He's tonight's 4-state hero. To learn about other heroes or to submit a hero of your own, just go to our website, koamnewsnow.com. Let's get another look at today's KOAM News Now Insta poll. We're asking, how confident are you that votes will be counted properly nationwide? Not much middle ground on this one. 27% are very confident, 11% somewhat confident, 62% not confident. We're going to keep this poll open throughout the evening. We'd like to invite you to watch special Campaign 2020 local coverage on our new digital streaming services, KOAM News Now Plus. It's now on your digitally connected TV through Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and on your phone. You can find all those ways on our website. Just search KOAM. The digital special revisits results of the local KOAM News Now polls that we've conducted concerning the election in recent months, and a look at some of the area election issues. A tradition now that not even 2020 can take away, visiting the gravesite of Susan B. Anthony on Election Day. The renowned suffragist is buried in Rochester, New York, and each election day people come out to honor her fight for women's voting rights. This year is particularly special. It marks 200 years since she was born and the 100th anniversary of the passage of the 19th Amendment, which of course gave women the right to vote. A lot of people leave their "I voted" stickers there. In fact, so many have done that, they've covered it with a plastic sleeve to keep the residue off of the gravesite itself.
That's amazing.
Yes, it is. The weather pretty amazing right now.
Yeah, even with some cloud cover sneaking in for tomorrow, it'll still be amazing temperature-wise. We'll have highs still around 71 tomorrow, 72 Thursday, staying in the 70s through Saturday, and then we'll focus on rain chances coming in early next week with the latest look at the forecast tonight at 9 on Fox 14 and at 10 o'clock now.
Thanks, Nick. To be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, download the KOAM News app. Like that weather app, it's free. Just go to KOAM News app. Thanks for watching. No Wheel of Fortune tonight. CBS election coverage begins right after this newscast, and we'll be cutting in periodically with local election updates. Of course, we'll also see you right back here at 10. In the meantime, let's take care of ourselves and each other.